Every one of you watching this screen, look out.
Anything can happen in the next half hour.
What did I tell you about cartoons?
They've got a lot of brains, and they've got a lot of chutzpah.
Tell me how comic books make you feel, Dave.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Hello, this is Frantz, Kantor, cartoonist, illustrator at ToonTalker, and I'm here with
Jim Bridges, and I'm the president of the Australian Cartoon Museum here at downtown Docklands in Melbourne, Australia, at the Australian Cartoon Museum.
You said that.
I did.
So, Leonardo is one of the turtles, obviously.
What does I stand for? Imagination.
Imagination.
Yeah.
So, Leonardo is Ralph Steadman's book from several years ago, in the 80s, I think it was. It's published by, I'll have a little look. Still Life with Raspberry. Who's first published by, doesn't say.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't say there. Let's have a look at the back. I don't know who that is. Anyway, you can find this online probably still. Get hit up eBay for it. Leonardo by Ralph Steadman. Now, Ralph Steadman is an illustrator, commonly known for British press, like I Spy magazine.
I Spy.
What was it called? I Spy.
You've got Mad Magazine on the brain.
Yeah.
He started off, he wasn't there long, because he had a fight with Scarf, because they both claimed that everybody was ripping themselves off. Well, that's that funny in pictures. Anyway, go to the beginning. Come on, do it properly.
Yeah. This is about Leonardo da Vinci and his love of Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah,
so Ralph Steadman. This is Ralph Steadman's hero, and this is a beautiful book. It was lovely reading it, actually.
And all this
full of scuttlebutt.
Yeah, all this stuff that's in the background of the Mona Lisa and the Virgin on the Rocks. He had loved the
made up mountains.
Yes,
he used to make up mountains. There's a story that he would actually sketch these mountains from a wall outside a pub near his studio, which everybody used to vomit up against. And over the years, the detritus and the fungus collected and created these sort of stains on the wall. And this is where he got these imaginative landscapes from.
Where did you read that?
I think it was mentioned in here, but it was another famous story from Leonardo da Vinci. Now, Leonardo da Vinci's famous nutcase from history.
Well, he's the first Renaissance man, isn't he?
Yeah, but this book is full. If you love the idea of an artist, inventor, being this sort of crazy nutcase, you'll definitely love this book.
We have to discuss this.
This is
the ancient idea of how the Earth was.
On the backs of 4 elephants.
Yeah, which were riding on the back of a giant tortoise going through the cosmos.
Yeah.
And of course he had his had to put some bats in, didn't he? Yeah.
So it was a medieval concoction, a lot of because there were. It was full of flat earthers and things at the time. A lot of people believed that the Earth was flat, and other people believed it was, on the carried up aloft by 4 elephants on the back of a giant tortoise.
And this is funny because this is one of his sketches from his famous anatomy books, and this is also one of his inventions within another invention. So he's put it all together, and he's got. I think that's a pinched landscape from one of his paintings, and of course he had these.
These drunks.
No, but
mad
not
people.
drunks, but not mad people. He had these. What do they call them? They're not exactly caricatures. It's just sort of just monstrosities.
Yeah.
And of course, There's like a teddy bear cat thing with one eye. I can identify with that because my teddy had one eye.
Well, this is written as a sort of a diary.
I remember.
So he
remember little of my mother before birth, save the inside of her womb, which served me well for 9 months long because he, So
that's one of his famous pen drawings.
Yeah. I had that picture on my wall for years. And this is interesting. He's sort of got the this is the fashions of the time. Yeah,
the little pork pie hat.
Very pork pie, more like a mince pie.
Mince pie hat.
And look at the pegs.
Yeah. So it had a really beautiful authenticity
he's
about
making
this.
up his own drawing of what he did as a
Here
child.
he is, a Da Vinci drawing when he was a kid.
Papa is spelled backwards, but it's in English because he, so that's very funny.
Well, he was left-handed as well.
And he's got the ER because the Queen owns most of the original drawings.
Yeah, which
of
is
Da Vinci.
funny.
Yeah.
Little poke.
And the sketches.
Yeah, he had beautiful. These are like from portraits.
Yeah.
Some, done by other people.
These are send-ups of him.
Yeah.
These are him. Yeah. I roamed the countryside searching for answers to things I did not understand. Why shells existed on tops of mountains along with the imprints of coral and plants and seaweed usually found in the sea. And he did all that stuff because he was...
Yes, it was a beautiful little diary of his experiences growing up in Da Vinci, or Ravenna or Verona, where he was. In Italy.
He's from Vinci.
Vinci.
It's a small town somewhere. So, what's this? He's running away. Oh.
He set off a contraption.
Yeah. And of course, this splatter is famous. Steadman's famous for the splatter.
Yeah, both Scarf and Steadman used to,
Yeah, but Steadman in particular, because apparently when he was doing Fear in Las Vegas with Hunter Thompson, he ran out. He couldn't find his pen, so because he used his pen and ink, so he was using one of Hunter's syringes.
Oh.
And of course, you can really force the ink out. He put ink in it, so and this became part of his signature.
Yeah, and this is a watercolor underneath or on top of the penwork, or with the penwork, and airbrush set to an overspray, so you got that very coarse textural quality of the airbrush. So everything was created for this sort of... It looked really immediate, very quickly created.
I was filled with such desires as to move mountains and invented machines for these feats, thus bringing my mother close to despair.
Yeah.
He was illegitimate. Have you even got that picture there?
Yeah.
He's still running. What makes him run? So there's all these sort of inventions. What's this about? Heavy was the retribution for my apparent follies. My experience led me to trespass where I should not.
Yeah, just as a poor kid, stealing fruit, stealing apples.
And of course, there's
one of the shrines.
Yeah, the Pieta? No.
Yeah, probably.
The Pieta is when the mother has the child, the Christ in his lap.
Yeah.
And brought the kid home. He's been a naughty boy.
Yeah, but look at these. This is sort of becoming more and more apparent. This Steadman
and the pie's turning it. The pork pie hat's turning into a pumpkin hat.
So it's Steadman creating these sort of bulbous creatures.
But they're based on Da Vinci's drawings. So
they're based on but there's a very heavy element of.
And of course, there's
Steadman's.
that drawing he did of the one of the Medici's, the hair. And the mum's looking out the window.
Yeah,
and
but again,
where are the famous Da Vinci hands? Do you know how all the artists they copied Da Vinci's hands in their paintings? They did such a good job.
Well, you'll see that in the portrait.
There were bed warmers, a linen press, new shoes, snowshoes, and bodice clips, a meat safe to guard against flies, a folding bed, and a washboard. And he do all these experiments and
little
stuff.
Cats.
Yeah. Look how he's drawn the flames.
But they're very. It just feels right. It just feels really accurate. Reading this book, it's all made up, most of it, And of course, there's no like real accurate stories of Da Vinci that survive to this day, but they're all based on hearsay and legends and things like that.
Well, I mean, the point is, Da Vinci's treated as a very, very reverential genius, and he's just having fun with it.
That's what the whole concept of this book is. That he's this perpetual nutcase that just wants to have fun at everybody's expense. But
mostly at the cat's expense. Look at the way he draws that cat. Actually, he's stealing from Searle there.
Yeah, Searle used to do some beautiful cats. Yeah. But the penwork, this loose, scribbly penwork that he used to do, is almost like hidden by these sort of tonal
It's sort of accurate
airbrush.
too. It's sort of accurate too, isn't it? And how he's just done just rough circles for the bricks, for the stones.
Yeah, but it has a feeling of authenticity about it. Yeah. Nonetheless, it's pretty cool book. Actually, when I first saw this, I wasn't a big fan of Steadman or Scarf.
Really?
No, but the just the authenticity, the whole of the Da Vinci look and feel of the backgrounds and the settings and the colours and even the expressions and the dress and everything, it just felt so authentic and real.
Because he was, in those days you couldn't cut bodies up.
No.
And he's obviously started. And here he is chopping up stuff and adults are running away. Yeah. Lots of vomit in this guy. Steadman loves doing vomiting. And that feeling you get when you're vomiting and you feel like your head's going to burst. Does that a lot.
So some of his little scribbles, the catapults and the different contraptions and cantilevers and fulcrums and all this sort of stuff.
How to wake you up in the morning.
Yeah, which is very Wallace and Gromit.
Archimedes' principle.
Yeah, which is very Wallace and Gromit. Yeah. This whole thing.
Oh, and he's got a striped mattress.
Yeah. That's a trope, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, 1940s.
And of course, this is interesting here. So he's got this
measuring glass,
medical,
yeah.
So he's working
instruments.
Yeah,
it's really interesting.
So what's this?
But this.
He's inventing a shaver. Look, it's a shaver that.
Yeah. And of course, it's the humorous part is it's sort of over. Wound or little blades that circulate.
It goes like that, but he's bleeding profusely.
Yeah, so it's not that efficient.
He was such a good-looking boy, and bright too. You got 2 pages there?
No.
Yeah, and then he's getting into the.
Yeah, these are from Da Vinci sketches of people.
No, they're not.
They are.
No,
these ugly faces.
They're more Steadmanish than Da Vinci. I'll tell you that now. I've just finished looking at a book on these things.
I think that's Steadmanish.
Oh, of course it is. All this. The troubadours started to come in, and this is interesting because he's actually starting to get into the Last Supper here.
Yeah.
He's introducing it to the Last Supper.
Well, you had to, because of the period, you need this sort of emphasis on the architecture. And in order to emphasise the architecture, you need perspective. So, but then, Steadman treats the perspective.
But he's doing his research because, look, that's a left-handed... He's playing left-handed because Da Vinci was left-handed.
Yeah.
So there's this invention he's made.
Yeah.
They're making love in the grass, and this thing pushed through.
Yeah, it looks like she's laughing, and he's been whipped.
Yes, he might have had a bit of damage there. I love the surrounding. He's captured the Italian landscape.
Yeah, the feeling for that rolling hills.
Yeah.
And wine country.
And there's a little bit of other artists in here too. A little bit of Bruegel here.
Yeah.
There's one of his inventions, and of course he has to fly, doesn't he?
Oh, it's his famous.
Yeah. While everybody else is working hard and all that sort of stuff, he has to run down the hill and try and fly.
Yeah.
He's got feathers up his ass.
Yeah. I just love these expressions, this crazy
These are
manic.
these are Bruegelian. They really are. The peasants resting, that painting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to me,
all the women
reading this in the 80s, it just looked really, really funny and convincing and, legitimate. Like all the little landscapes where you see bits of old paintings and
so
stuff.
is that a Da Vinci or that's his? No, that's his.
That would all be his. There would be no Da Vinci's in the book.
And this is weighing. What the hell is that?
Yeah, but look at Alexander Calder.
Alex. Look at the horse's face. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
The ears and the eyes and the mouth. Yeah.
Just,
even the horse's bum.
Yeah, and the peasants leaning on sticks.
Yeah.
It's nothing, and there's no brooms there.
White
just
cat
sticks.
There. Yeah, just sticks. Yeah.
Just such a beautiful. It reminds you of Satyricon. It's just the weirdness of that period.
So he leaves home, and he goes into the dark, mysterious world.
Went to the city.
Yeah.
So
tar and cement.
Yeah, and just filth.
Yeah.
So it's really.
So now it's all this.
Like the Decameron revisited, and it was just full of, beggars and plague victims, and this sort of architecture pushed out of the squalor, out of these sort of stucco hovels. Roman-style hovels with Romanesque. And
he draws big. These would be bigger than probably what they're printed.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'd say. But he has, he's got this beautiful.
So he's done this sketch himself. Probably he's probably there. Is that the old Dumo Bridge? Is it?
Uffizi.
Yeah, because it's on the top, and then
Ponte.
It's the bridge, Ponte's Bridge.
Vecchio.
Yeah, the old bridge, Ponte Vecchio. That's old
Vecchio.
bridge. Old
Ponte
bridge.
Vecchio from Uffizi.
Yeah, because at the top of the bridge is the Uffizi, part of the Uffizi.
Okay. There you go. You learned something new.
Ponte Vecchio.
Meatball, spicy meatball.
Spicy meatball.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So these are, you recognise these from.
He's going. That's him
old
on the horse, and they're going through the slaughterhouse. They're going through the slaughterhouse, and they got their
this is the street vendors making
sawing up all the meat and all that sort of stuff. So he's interested. It's like, oh, this is interesting. I've got to check this out.
But look at the dog. It's sort of, just full of this crazy manic.
And death is, heads of animals.
I'd like him to do a Picasso book. I think that would be a great one. Or a Goya book.
Ah, Goya book. That'd be terrific. A Goya book. That'd be terrific.
This is one of those ugly Donatello sculptures.
Ugly. He gets his job working
as that geezer with the helmet.
That geezer. Oh, that geezer.
Yeah. A geezer with a helmet.
He gets a job as an apprenticeship working for this artist. That's Donatello, isn't it? Is that Donatello's David?
Probably, yeah.
But I don't think he was working for Donatello.
I don't know. There's some geezer.
There
he is, with his bag of tricks.
Yeah, and his bag of tricks coming in.
Why are there all naked people, naked men walking around in there?
Oh, well, the Renaissance was noted for its nakedness.
Right. Okay. Again,
here's his experiments walking on water, getting mixed up with all the fishermen's lines.
Yeah, he's always getting out of trouble. He's got a halo, so he's always getting into trouble.
Yeah,
being yelled at by the yokels.
Yeah, and of course all the background and the
beautiful?
bridge, isn't it? Actually, it's a great composition, isn't it? They caught some fish, and look, they don't have the nets; they just have the hook.
They hook the fish and bring it in.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Is he got a bloody? It looks like a nappy.
These would be even better in real life. I think these watercolors.
Yes.
They just look.
So here he is.
Incredible.
So he's got money in his lap. He's got his halo and he's signing up for something, and these guys are obviously just signing here. Yeah.
Something.
Usurers. That's a medieval word.
Well, we're looking at a medieval story. Verruccio. Italian people, blah blah blah. So they're bankers.
Yeah.
So he's trying to raise money for his studio, his inventions and things, his lifestyle. This is.
You know what this is?
This is based on a Rembrandt.
That's a takeoff on the Rembrandt. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
This is the I forget what it's called. Operation of.
No, the anatomy lesson.
The anatomy lesson.
Yeah. And of course, look, they're all holding their nose now.
Yeah, except for him.
Yeah,
he's peering into the
brain. Yeah.
The secrets, and your head's under the camera
again. Oh, okay, my bald head. Yeah. Okay.
Beautiful colour again. You know, getting back into obviously red. It's going to be a theme.
And he got dragged into court for homosexuality.
Right.
And
these are all the jury, I guess.
Yeah.
20 jurors.
And look at the judge. God, look at that judge. That beats any judge out of Dormier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's bird-like, it's vulture-like, you know, the claw and all that, you know.
Popeye jaw.
So, yeah, he's, yeah. Yep. Anyway, that was all hushed up. Because, you know, you could get into a lot of trouble. I think someone put a note saying under the door that, you know, Da Vinci was carrying on.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, he wanted to find out how...
eyes worked.
Yeah, so...
These were lovely drawings of the eyeball. They're made from dissections.
Yeah.
And they're really, you know, opticians... I mean, people made glasses then, but they never had sort of these... anatomical charts of the eyes.
I've never chopped an eye in half, but he's made them look like eggs, hasn't he? Like boiled eggs. And look at these things. They're floating up in the air. And of course he's got that fierce eyes.
Determination.
Yeah. And of course, instead of using a small knife, he's got a huge, great cutlass.
Yeah.
And he's got a little ring around it.
Sort of like a Roman chair.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got a gig at the local nut house.
No.
What's this?
You don't know.
Hospital.
You don't know your history. I love all this stuff. Look. He's getting into. He's really getting into.
2-point perspective.
Yeah, and look, there he is holding his frame up.
Yeah.
And he's got these dwarfs with him. And he's working it all out.
Yep.
Because, well, it started to come through with Masaccio, didn't it? Actually, you teach the subject. Tell us something about perspective. When did it really come in?
Well, I mean, it's always been known, but it's very difficult to create a believable drawing.
Yeah, but they simplified it
mathematically.
Yeah, that's right.
So 1-point, 2-point, 3-point perspective.
Yeah.
You know, is how you have to represent objects three-dimensionally on paper.
Yeah. He's having so much fun with this book, isn't he? Just get back.
Huh.
Hang on, get the screen there. So...
this is a proportion device.
Oh, yeah.
Artists hold up a brush or a finger or something in order to compare, you know, relative proportions with different elements in the scene that they're drawing.
And there's this wonderful visionary landscape that's in the ground, the background of the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Now he's got a Van Gogh hat. And look at his eye. Yeah. Don't stick your head under the camera, Jim. You got a chance to do all the stuff.
Yeah, but I wonder if that's probably an indication of how big this artwork was.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is one of the Medicis, I think, and that's his 13-year-old mistress who Da Vinci painted. And of course that's Savonarola. He was they killed him. Savonarola, I think. He was a firebrand, and he was hung in the square at that time of the Renaissance. Hang on, let's get that out of there.
Okay. This is a what do they call that? It's
Astrolab.
Yep.
Except it's quite a different one, isn't it? Oh no, because he made all these theatrical devices for shows, and this is one of them. It looks like it's pinched out of the
dark crystal.
The dark crystal, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. These were how that people could explain, the planets, and there was always a theory that the Earth wasn't flat. That was the general consensus, but most people believe that. But there were a lot of crazy people that insisted the Earth was flat for some sort of stubborn. Anyway, this was a sort of machine that they used to explain
this is
how
the Zodiac.
the seasons
This is the Zodiac.
and the stars work.
Yeah, this is Zodiac. And of course, he spent a lot of time making these machines.
Yeah.
And of course, underneath, you've got these disgruntled workers and all these. But actually, each one of these faces is interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously the 13-year-old mistress again, and there's what's his name, Lorenzo, whatever his name.
Yeah. So it in a way, it was trying to blend art with science and make it very theatrical, because he had this incredible thirst for knowledge, and he wanted to, infect other people with it as well. And here he is trying to amaze the clerics.
And all the educated
court.
guys. Yeah. And they're all bored at the background. She's got her Flemish hat on from the northern artists, and they're just interested in each other.
Yeah, but again, look at the red.
Yeah.
The one thing that struck me about Steadman is he's got this blurry, like a bleeding quality of colour. He doesn't do colour very often, but when he does, he uses it like this to infect the rest of the painting. This is incredibly powerful, both in terms of the composition and the motif, the colour motif which he uses.
Mind you, he did such great work with black and white in the early books like The Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, but I really appreciated the beautiful Renaissance feel, the colours of the world that he was creating here. You could tell that somebody that really wanted to, create something that was authentic in every sense of the word.
Look outside the door is the painting.
Yeah,
the Virgin on the Rocks.
Huh.
And there he is here checking out. He's making fire.
Yeah, but look at his audience though.
Yeah, they're
these great faces.
Incredible faces. I look at the toes.
Yeah.
I think, and this guy's on wheels. He's got no legs. I think that this book was a marriage made in heaven for.
You'll see some photographs later on. Where
this is very funny.
Yeah,
this is very funny because he's trying to work out. He's trying to work out the Vitruvian Man, and and of course the maid's coming in with gingerbread men.
Yeah. Yeah, the gingerbread men work better.
And he's looking straight at his testicles. Really intense look there out the mountains. There's this wonderful world outside. There's always a wonderful world outside.
Yeah.
And of course, you get the sense of the bare, the households inside rooms. They were bare, like all wood and just tiles.
Well, when you look at old medieval films or even sword and sandal type films, they're always big stucco walls and blank
Yeah.
Nothing on the walls, blank floors.
Well, this looks like the Sistine Chapel, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So he's trying out his big machine.
This is his helicopter.
Yeah. Is it?
I think it might be the flappy thing. There's the plane.
Yeah.
That's the plane. This is Steadman's sketch after Da Vinci's inventions.
I think that's an air screw.
Is it? Oh, okay.
He calls it an air screw.
Yeah. They didn't have the word helicopter back then.
And of course, there's more of his experiments down
here. Yeah.
He's really had a ball with this book, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is this the famous horse? He was working on this. Yeah, these are the sketches. He was working on this famous statue of this horse that was never finished.
Yeah.
Because he had problems finishing all sorts of stuff, and it was never finished. But people loved it. There he's up here working on it. It was melted down for cannonballs or something for the wars between the states. Yeah. And yeah, the horses. The Battle of the Horses is what.
And there is a little bit of the history of the Battle of the Horses here, but it's also written from the point of view of Da Vinci himself, because this ultimately is like a fantasy diary.
Yeah.
Like my life in pictures type of thing.
I, Leonardo.
Yeah. That's why it's called I, Leonardo. Like I, Robot, or I
Robot. Yeah. Well.
I whatever.
What's this?
iPod. I love this.
Well, it's the artist before the canvas. It's pretty classic, but he had no trouble starting stuff. He had trouble finishing.
Yeah, he got bored.
Well, he had too many interests, and he would get caught up.
That's the reason
he would get caught up in.
There's a story about this.
Yeah, well,
this is him
working
on
Last
the Last Supper, which is in the other side of the wall was a kitchen.
Yeah.
Or an eatery.
Yeah.
And that's where the monks used to eat. Anyway, there was a lot of fumes and food smells and moisture and things that came back and would infect the wall. So
the main problem, it started to fall to bits before he actually finished painting it, because he was using experimental. He wasn't using tried and true. He was continually experimenting.
Well, he started it as a fresco, but a lot of it he started to cheat and use oil paint, which you're not supposed to do.
So there's Jesus at the centre here, and all these lines go in. See?
Yeah, it's a one-point perspective.
Yeah.
In the class of.
And of course, they end up putting a door through the bottom of the painting.
Yeah.
To go,
Yeah, it was
cut a hole in the door.
Yeah. To go into the. What do they call the eatery for monks, the rectory?
And the index finger on Christ's right hand will point to his own palm, and the other three fingers, the Trinity, will point towards Judas. Yes, and all except Judas will show in their faces and actions of their bodies that Christ says cannot be, and in so doing I will represent the motions of the mind by gestures.
So he was trying to put in all of this sort of, mythological.
We were told that
stories and secrets.
The nuns told me the story that he picked the most beautiful man he could find to play Jesus.
Yeah.
And he was the first person he drew, and then the last person he did, because he did it such over a long period of time, was Judas.
Yeah.
And what happened was it was the same person, but it had such a terrible life that he deteriorated in a short time.
Yeah, and there's two versions of this.
What, there's more than one version? I mean, you got to stick with it.
No, because this was stuck on a wall. But there was some invader from some Flemish invader. Years later, approached him to do a copy.
Which is now in France. It's in France.
Where's Flemish? It's in France, near France.
No, it's in France.
Oh, it's now in France.
Yes.
So that's how they worked out all of the original colours, and they were able to.
So he's got
bring back the
paint here. He's got ads and all that stuff.
Well, this is Steadman actually doing the Last
having
Supper.
Having a go.
In a modern day materials, acrylics.
He hasn't got any McDonald's burgers on the table or anything like that. This is interesting, isn't it? Actually, that's quite big. He's doing it.
Yeah,
that's big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big wall.
Did he actually paint it on the
wall?
On the wall?
Yeah, in house paint. He's actually drawn in the
door
as well.
The door, yeah.
It's just weird.
Oh, this is a great page. This is...
Yeah, so...
this landscape, he lives in a landscape of mathematics, you know?
Yes.
Everything is mathematics.
Yes. So he got out his spirograph and started to do these little patterns and things, which are really cool.
And look,
I love these.
Look, they're connected to clouds.
And of course, you've got that Dali plane of the infinite.
The cloud, and of course, you've got to have his imaginary.
The landscapes. That's the whole thing there. The landscapes form an integral part in all of the paintings and drawings, sketches that
Vasarely.
Time tunnel.
And isn't he the guy from Star Wars?
Yeah.
Hang on, isn't he the guy from Star Wars?
That's the Pyramid of Giza.
Yes.
Looks like it. These are complex shapes.
I feel
so you go from platonic solids into
feeling coming on, don't you?
Yeah, into different areas, tesseracts or whatever they call them. Tetrahedrons.
Hit him in the head and he's seeing stars. See what he got in his hand? Oh, he's doing this at night. He's got a
lamp. Yeah.
Look at his feet.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a lot of fun. And again, with a beautiful colour. But look how they've matched the page colours here. This one here. This sort of give you a beautiful effect. That lime green to help with the impact.
That's
of the
his screw. That's his screw.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and he's getting more and more twisted.
Whirly birds. Look at his leg. It's all twisted. Look.
Stockings.
It's fallen off.
And again with the landscape, they're beautiful.
Again with the landscape. Again with the landscape.
There he is with that older style hat.
Yeah, like you wear. Yeah. But that's not a Greek. That's not a Greek fisherman's hat yet. So what's this? Do they all catch the? They all catch the clap or something. What's
inside the Corti Vecchio, women of the street. So there's a story about it and how why they're important.
God will have to read it one day. One day.
He was pursued by women of the street. There's a whole a rationale. Why
embarrassment was no respecting friend as those of the high rank met the dregs of common man upon the stair. It was no way to conduct a business even of the mildest form besides one such as this. So I devised a worthy plan of corridors and separate rooms whereby no one, whether wretch or king, should suffer unexpected stress.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's redesigning brothels.
Yeah.
That's right, because you meet the people on the stairs. Well, that's Savonarola. Yeah, he was getting carried away, and so they ended up killing him.
Yeah, of course, that was right in the middle of the...
they burned him and hanged him, that's right.
What do they call the trials?
Well, no, you're talking about the Inquisition, aren't you?
Inquisition.
But that was really Spain.
Who called for an Inquisition? But they
a Royal Inquisition.
Yeah.
Now they call them commissions.
They still burnt people that were arrested and charged and convicted of heresy.
So that's him.
So it was still very much embroiled in the dark mythology of the church. The fear. They wanted to instill fear and compliance in the population.
He sort of had a go at photography too because they had two blinds and there was a hole in the outside one and he moved the inside one.
Lucido or something?
Yeah, that's right. And he was interested in that because he saw the people walking upside down outside in the street.
They were projected upside down on the wall, yeah.
But he didn't have enough...
Camera obscura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is interesting because it reminds me of kids holding up their hands at the pictures, you know, in the light from the projector. Except, you know, we're going to have to read this book one day so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Here he is, doing small little operations, but look at this character here. Looks like he's so furry. It looks weird.
Well, they're all dying, and he's checking out the aging process and everything. Although it looks like he's got a little sore. He's been doing some things, but he's got this, you know, checking out everything about him, and he's scribbling here, and he's writing with his right hand. Ooh, that's unusual.
Back to his roots.
Yeah. And that'd be Milan, or is that Florence? That's Florence.
So this is all about his journeys of his life and the different
he kept on going to
moments where he would
oh God.
Yeah, it's a very incredibly violent one.
Carnage.
Not sure what this
this is Goya-esque.
Yeah. Or
well, the Borgias and all those. I think it's the Borgias.
Yeah. There he is. There, looking at trying to find him, but I guess that would be him.
Well, he was forever making machines.
Beautiful, monstrous.
He was forever making machines. Yeah, it reminds me of the. He did Treasure Island. He did terrific. Oh, now this is interesting because
these are his paranoids.
Yeah, paranoids. He used to take photos
warp these,
of paranoids, and then he'd heat them up. And push them. He'd push them
while it's still moist.
Yeah, it hasn't fixed.
Push it with your thumb.
Yeah, and did all these. Yeah. So this is obviously Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
And you know, this is what's going on.
Trying to entertain her, maybe to get a smile out of her.
Yeah. And of course, she has to have a woman next to her because you know the young beautiful women had to have.
Well, she was a wife. She was married.
Yeah, I know.
So you'd have to have a.
But she was rich enough to have a maid with her all the time. Look at the face of the maid. And outside is that's the view behind it.
There's the that's what he painted behind the Mona Lisa. Yeah. Beautiful.
And it's a small picture.
Yeah.
People are surprised when they actually see it.
Well,
and he's painting with his right hand. He's painting with his right hand.
Is he? I wonder if he was right-handed. I thought he was left-handed. Never mind.
He certainly was. And of course, this is about his fascination and obsession with flight. It keeps on going on.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful, a progression of the flight itself with these paintings.
I've been still engaged in painting my Madonna Lisa and had at this time gathered all my notes on birds in flight that took my attention in a very serious manner. It was my intention to make a book, so I prepared a treatise on birds. So, and this is all the...
Yeah. Piazza Duomo, little story about Michelangelo now.
Yeah, because they hated each other. And that's Michelangelo. Yeah. With the hand of God. So he's got the hand of God from his painting. Yeah, Adam. And he's throwing Da Vinci. Up yours, disgraziato, coronato. And look at the
brushes.
They're all different directions.
He threw a blob of paint or something.
Yeah. At the
fantastic. Very entertaining. Everyone's finding it incredibly funny. You look at their faces; they love it.
So what's he doing? What's Da Vinci? Michelangelo?
He's doing a sculpture or something. I don't know. I can't quite make that out.
Yeah.
But
well, it's not his book.
audience. Yeah.
And this is the fighting of the horses, which I've only got drawings of other people who sketched it, because they didn't have photography. Now, what the hell is that?
It didn't last. This is okay. He would experiment with gases and bladders and things. This is one of his little.
Well, here he is over here pumping it up and it's blowing up.
It's a scientific trick, but it's also a practical joke at the expense of his friends in the clergy.
That's the famous
the Pope.
Oh, well, yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
So what? It breaks and it stinks. Is that it?
There's a lot of there's many stories about him playing practical jokes on the clergy and on rich people, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's become his legend has lasted so long. The stories, the hearsay, whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter, because it's all part of the story now of Leonardo. And this is what Steadman's drawing on here. So this information is one of Steadman's collages, where he uses all of these different chimeric effects of animals and textures and stuff to create new visuals. It's a really cool way of doing that, actually. I must admit, I'm not a big fan of photo collage, but his stuff is really powerful.
He didn't do much, did he?
No.
Although he did one of the best. He's done one of the best collages I've ever seen of the atomic bomb. And it's just a great big lips about the sort of, Yeah. Yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Lovely sketch.
So again,
that's King of France.
Yeah, Francis I.
He's brought him down a bit because he's quite puffy in the painting. Yeah. So this is like the travel, because he's travelling.
Yeah, like a travelogue.
Yeah, the
artist
sketches. Yeah.
So
get an idea.
I'm not sure about this. There was a film associated with this book, and I'm not sure about it. But I think he travelled to a lot of the places that Da Vinci went to, just to get a look and feel.
And they're obviously in France now because of the architecture.
Yeah.
And he's made some sort of a mechanical lion.
Yeah, a mechanical lion, as you would.
That spits out all these...
fleur-de-lis.
Yeah. And that's
lovely.
The king.
Yeah, it looks like the scarecrow.
Oh, I was going to...
The Tin Man.
Tin Man, but where's Da Vinci?
He'd be around somewhere.
Can't see him. So he's forever making devices and stuff to entertain everybody.
Yeah. That might be him there.
No, it's the king.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe he's... I don't know. He's hidden. So where's Wally? Where's Leo?
Where's Wally?
Where's Leonardo and Donnie and Mikey?
Because he's getting old. So that'd be him. He's
Raphael.
getting old. He's invented this thing for the gardener. He's got the weight there to stop it from...
tipping.
Yeah. He has to draw every brick.
Yeah. It's beautiful, these...
Yeah, they're putting in exotic trees. Yeah, exotic trees. So he's getting to the end of his life now, and
again,
he's invented his bike. And there's the king.
Yeah. It's almost like the king is in his employ.
Yeah, look.
Rather than
look,
the
Dad,
other way
no
around.
hands.
But look at that beautiful...
No hands. Look, Dad, no hands.
Yeah. But look at that beautiful texture. I mean, that in itself is stunning. I don't know.
How do you do that? With
no idea.
A rag?
Maybe. Yeah.
Rag?
But just, Steadman is an incredibly experimental illustrator. And
like his mate Leonardo.
Yes. So, in a way, this is like the perfect story for him.
I used to draw this picture.
Yeah.
When I was a kid in the school books.
Hot air balloons.
No, it's a parachute.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. And of course, that's the Dauphin, I think. That's a famous painting. Look at this guy who's over there going to jump off. Look at him. Women holding on to dogs.
Again, look at the beautiful rainy landscape.
Yeah, and he designed, he designed
castellations,
remnants. What do they call them? Remnants.
Roger remnants. Battlements.
That's it.
Some kind.
No, look. He's become an old man.
Yeah.
He's got... That's funny. We can't get a close-up.
Beautiful expression.
We can't get a close-up, but that's... Look at the hands, the drawings, all these lines. They're just absolutely beautiful.
And he's showing... Steadman must have posed for that.
He's showing... this guy's got
his...
he's got these sketches, and he's made a...
paper airplane.
Out of one of his sketches. Look, someone's thrown it back. Look.
Yeah. But he's happy.
Well, he's contented.
What a beautiful painting. What a beautiful drawing.
It is. It's pity we can't... Can we lift it up?
Life.
Will that focus?
Probably not.
No.
There you go. Well, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Love that expression.
And he's really got that that splatter work under control, hasn't he?
Well, it's overspray.
Yeah. And of course, he was obsessed all his life with water.
Yeah. Overspray is like a instead of a fine mist, it creates these droplets.
Yeah.
So it's still airbrush, so it's not really splatter. You have a fair amount of control over where it goes.
Yeah. So this is where he's during a tornado or a storm. So it's the storm, and there's his beloved mountains.
Yeah, but they're beautiful drawings.
Yeah,
really beautiful
in
drawings.
themselves.
The energy involved.
And of course, these are all the drowning soldiers. Oops.
Gorgeous.
And there he is at the end of his life.
Yeah.
With all his notes.
He's quite
paranoid because
he's got,
if people find his information, so that's why he was always drawing them back to front, in the sense you can only read them in a mirror. And look at all his notes. Look at them all. Look at them all. It's like a miser with his coin. Beautiful, isn't it beautiful?
Now all owned by the Queen.
Well, some of it is. What's his name? Bill Gates owns it too. I heard and saw nothing else, therefore there is nothing. Now I am forsaken.
So yes, it's there is a documentary about this book which I saw many years ago. I'm pretty certain there is some information on film about the making of this book. There certainly is a lot of information about Steadman.
Yeah. I think it's a beautiful cover too, because see the hands?
Yeah.
And the hands are actually drawing attention to... So that's Da Vinci and Jesus drawing attention to Ralph Steadman. And of course there's his mechanical halos. The Trinity.
Yeah, and the background.
Yeah.
Fantasy landscape.
Which is the same one from the... Well, maybe, no. It could be the... Yeah. And he's got two types of... Look, he's got the red and the blue, and they're done differently. See, one's blotchy and one's not. Yeah. Wonderful book.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's something that you can look for. Came out, I think, in the 80s. I can actually tell you... I'm pretty sure I bought this at the end of the 80s.
Well, that'll tell you what the next page will. It'll have a date in it.
1983. Copyright 1983. So, really interesting book. As I said, I was not a fan of Steadman before, but I was a big fan.
Why is that?
His style was incredibly messy, and really, I didn't like his character designs too much.
Ugly, brutto facci.
Yeah. But this book made me take another look at Steadman's work, because there's something about the passion for this. Ultimately, the world's most passionate thinker, I think, Leonardo da Vinci. Passionate thinker. And to have a book dedicated to him by another artist who loved him, it was really charming to read. And
we dedicate this film to Mark Knight, the cartoonist from the Herald Sun, who loves Da Vinci, and has promised me one day he'll do a book on Da Vinci. Yeah.
Ah, cool. There you go.
He always sneaks him into pictures like he's watching the Da Vinci Code, or the audience, and Da Vinci's actually in the audience, and so is the Vitruvian Man.
I wonder what he would think about the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
I know what he'd think about the Fibonacci spiral.
Oh, don't get him started on the Fibonacci
Raspberries. Okay. All right, this is Frantz Kantor.
And Jim Bridges.
So catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for the sour persimmons, cousin.